we're going to start with questions. The very first one here comes from Jack Scott. He asks, how was Mitch and other Chiefs O-line coached on timing for Mahomes' extension of plays?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's so dependent on the philosophy of not only the O-line coach, but like this kind of a test, just the QB style of play, which was Patrick is. There is no one QB style play he's got. He's got it all in the arsenal. So Andy Heck, who we've had overlap with, I'll tell you what, it's great being an interior in that offensive lineman. Being a tackle in that system is a nightmare because it's help each other on the inside, tackles, best of luck. And what that did, though, was set the tone for really having a stern middle of the pocket, or even if you got depth, having an opportunity to kind of create that horseshoe, whatever you want to call it. The tackles really implemented going up the field. And you can see that in regards to, guy gets run up the field and being able to escape. But it's one of those things that you really don't talk about. And you just kind of figure out on the fly. It's really time on task. It's not something that you don't really sit down and do. It's something that honestly the quarterback falls into a lot at times, just seeing how his offensive line blocks. And that's a testament to not only Pat, but also these other elite quarterbacks that elusiveness is one of their traits that's not talked about enough.
He said something that was really interesting to me, and he talked about how the tackles have a difficult job. The interior, we rely on one another, and whether it's slides or gap protection, there are ways that Andy Heck and Andy Reid find a way to keep the middle of that dish, as I call it, horseshoe, as you called it. I think they're both great phrases, but the key in this is the tackles are running the edge rushers by, and the quarterback is supposed to step up, and you can't step up into a cloudy dish. So I think that's the easiest way to answer that question is protect the middle. Patrick will make the right decision, whether he wants to exit stage right, stage left, or stage center.
Or you can mess it up and he'll figure it out anyways. I mean, that's
throw it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, a throw it call from an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You get a 1 or 2 a year. QB usually has a year for it. You get beat so bad. Part of it is throw it.
Throw it, Patrick.
Yeah. Throw it. Yeah.
How are you coached? A follow-up to that, in terms of obviously holding penalties often get called on those scrambles, and sometimes rightfully so, sometimes wrongfully so. But how are you coached in terms of letting guys go? What are you supposed to do in those scenarios? Did they tell you anything specifically?
Well, it kind of depends on what position you're in.
Yeah, that's more a tackle as well.
Yeah, so more of a tackle. I think it's really these players and kind of watching some of these draft players. And something that Andy Heck used to talk about. It's relative position, where the quarterback's supposed to be, kind of feeling where what the defender's doing. I would say the biggest thing is if you have your hands, everyone's holding on every single play.
Yep.
And that's not talked about.
Hell yeah, we are.
It's the truth. I mean, I held on every single play, and if I didn't, I was upset. But it's all about, and the short arms do come and play, but it's keeping your hips in a position or keeping yourself in that position in front of the player at least a little bit.
The Crowther drill.
Yeah, Jesus. And then part of it is just truly, all right, now it's time to let go. You feel like you're pulling on the guy a little bit. Okay. It's an art form that you try to master, but often that you kind of snipped in the butt for.
So Harry Hiestand, who I got to play for in Chicago, legendary offensive line coach. By the way, huge Notre Dame guy here. He's aware of Harry Hiestand and his product. Zach Martin, Ronnie Stanley, all those guys.
Good. Yeah, go Irish.
So the way that Harry Hiestand used to teach us would be we would be, our hands behind our back in individual,
have to block.
Like remember the push pull drill, like essentially like a wave drill for offensive linemen. So you have your hand. So those of you at home that are listening, get it in a pass protection stance, like an upright pass protection stance with your hands behind your back, and try to maintain strength in your core and have one of your teammates
shut your windows,
shut your windows,
so you don't want your neighbors seeing.
Muzzle your buddy. So pull his shirt, push him, and mix it up. Go side to side. When you don't have the ability to move with relative position, have your hips on the guy. That's when you end up reaching, and when you reach, you're usually grabbing.
Totally.
And when you grab in those situations on the reach race for a rusher, nobody wants to see that.
No, I think one of those things he was just chatting about, the drill, is where is your weight in relation to your hips? Like, is your weight and your shoulders over your hips? You're going to find yourself in that position where it's either I'm falling out the window or I'm holding on for dear life. And it's just it's a beautiful thing when you hold every play.
Yeah.
You call every once in a while. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You got to know what you're doing.
All right, next question here comes from Jerish Norwood. He asks, could you guys demonstrate how exactly they measure arm length? It seems like combine and pro day stats are often different. Why is it so difficult to get a consistent measurement? So I guess where do they put it on your shoulder is what he's asked. Do you remember?
I'll take this one because I have very short arms, and there was a point of contention for years. So it really is from fingertip to fingertip, right? They're going over your shoulder. At the combine, you're in that cattle auction room.
Yeah.
And it is demoralizing. And they're just, I had short arms. The guy's like, dude, you got to straighten your arms farther, please.
There's like two guys laughing at you in the back.
For your own sake, please. I'm like, this is all I got. And I guess it depends on if you're measuring at your pro day. It might help being in-house a bit. But it really is just one of those things where you stretch as far as you can, dude. And there's really I don't know if there's really any way of cheating it.
No. Well, let's be honest. Some of that
spread.
Not every measurer of arms was created the same.
Dude, there was a controversy.
There is big time screw ups in this shit.
At the combine, the whole offensive line group was a half inch shorter than at their pro days or at the Senior Bowl, where they also got measured.
I'll tell you what. It's a damn conspiracy. Pull it up, Jamie.
Who was the measure? It was whoever wants Will Campbell and is not on the Patriots. An agent came in and measured his arm.
There's a quarterback whose hand grew 1.5 inches. I think it was the guy from Yep.
It was a full like
the power of prayer. No,
I need those Wheaties, okay? In my breakfast bowl. That's what I need. I need to get, let me know how to do that.
You got some meat hooks on you, kid. You're doing fine.
He had a follow-up, though. It says, ask Mitch if his arm length measured at 34 inches instead of 32.25, would he have been played at tackle? Do you think he would have?
No. Listen, dude. It is a different deal out there, and you can just see it sometimes. You can hear it. I don't know. You'd like to think you could. Listen, Andy Heck, I love him, but he took years off my life, made me a better football player. Maybe if that had correlated outside, fine. But dude, it's just a whole different world out there. An arm length is one of many.
You're born a tackle. You're also born a center or a guard, I think.
That's true.
And it's a holy position.
At Missouri.
Yes, yeah.
What's the jump up in competition like, just in terms of week to week, what you're facing athletically at tackle in college versus in the NFL?
Well, no matter what you look at, conference-wise and all that stuff, people can chat. It is, no matter what conference you come from, it's a complete step up.
Yeah.
These guys are just werewolves on the edge position.
Fire-breathing dragons.
Yeah, fire-breathing dragons. I remember being in Kansas City my first few years, and we were in a division where it wasn't too bad being an interior, but
Chandler Jones.
Well, so we had not quite then, but we had Khalil Mack and Bruce, and the Oakland we had Bosa and Melvin Ingram, and then we had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller.
Yep.
And then
when they were rolling,
I'm telling you, these dudes were.
They get you at altitude and just kill you.
Oh, dude. And we had tackles that were up to the challenge for the most part. It's just a whole different ballgame. And now every team's got one of these guys. I feel like there's some year, like maybe that's just me being naive, but these guys are. You see a Micah Parsons who can play at any position. Myles Garrett, the fact that he's out there is ridiculous.
Yeah, we were talking about Myles Garrett just yesterday on the show at length, and we're just kind of in awe of the physical excellence that exists in the National Football League. And to further answer your question, I would say this. The athletes, they're all there in college. They have to go through college, but it's the guys with a real rush plan and a tool belt, a toolkit. That's when they become killers. When they start setting up their 7th rush of the game, 1 through 5, and they have a real plan to kill you out there. Those guys in college, it's a rogue wave when you do face a guy with a rush plan. You're going to face good athletes every week, maybe a great athlete every other 3 weeks, but the guys with the plans are the ones who are really dangerous. And everybody in the league seems to have a great plan now. There's pass rush specialists. These guys go to school in the offseason for it.
Yeah, I think a couple things there. One is like how many rookies, even like rookies guys who turn into elite players as rookies were not elite pass rushers, right? And so like the step up, guys like Khalil Mack was a great rookie, was not an elite pass rusher as a rookie, right? But then, so like even the top players sometimes aren't necessarily polished. And then the other thing just being the paradigm has shifted in terms of the athletes. I think like a decade plus ago when Von Miller broke 4.5, that was like, holy poop. You know, this guy is a 4.4 edge rusher that he goes top 3.
Yeah.
This year, multiple guys broke 4.5, right? It's just like last year, multiple Dallas Turner, Chop Robinson break 4.5. It's the athletes coming out. I don't know what it is. Just training.
It's those edge rusher contracts. These guys don't want to be any other positions anymore. They want to go get 1 sack a game for 8 years, 9 years, and they can make $300 million, dude. That's just the nature of the biz right now.
It's a beautiful thing if you're on that side of the ball. It's a nightmare on this side, dude. It sucks.
Coaches say they get paid too. I'm like, yeah, a lot more.
Next question comes from Jeremy Muse. It's a little bit of a draft question. He asks, with the way Will Campbell sets so hard to the outside, if he isn't able to stick at tackle, do you see him having issues kicking in the guard? Some evals have him needing to move to center.
Hey, all right.
You know a thing or two about
that. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's a very niche question.
Very much is.
I would say, listen, dude, and I know we're going to go into depth about this in a little bit, but I was looking at some of this tape. I don't know how scouts do it. Like, how do you, there's so, and I know you got to go through the intangibles and the, you know, what's in between the ears, and so much of it's circumstantial too. Like, what's going to be a nurturing environment? What kind of room are they walking into? What kind of O-line coach
is their quarterback making them look bad or good?
What kind of quarterback do they have? Is patience? Like, is there a coach that knows when to push or when not to? Seeing the kid how he plays, I think he can do whatever he wants. And I think like we were talking about earlier, and maybe I'm a little sensitive to the subject, but short arms. If you can play football, you can play football. Now, the one thing I will say is his power, his position of power. I didn't see him in the 2-point stance.
Always like upright.
I'll tell you what, when he makes contact,
I call him Gumby.
Yeah,
because he finds a way to get those. You know, he like gets bendy.
He's got that. I know this is not answering your question or this guy's question,
but Jeremy appreciates this.
Jeremy, I hope so. But you know, he's got the eye black, and here's the only thing I'll say. Campbell, is that, listen, if you can play football, you can do whatever you want. Just weather the storm, because the old dudes are going to give you a little bit of shit for it. They're going to give you a little bit of help for it. Excuse my language.
I think we can cuss on here. It's been about 25 weeks. We still got a job.
Yeah, and just weather the storm. Do your thing. You got it, moxie. Play with it and be yourself. Take it with a grain of salt. Because, I mean, if he was in my line room, I'd be a little bit. Until he starts playing ball.
I'd be the guy that would be sitting next to you. We'd be the vets in the room, and let's pretend that he comes in. You're going to give him hell a little bit for his eye black, and you know his. What do you make a comment about Amazon? He's like, if I miss a couple blocks, I'm going to be working at Amazon next week, and I'm going to be the vet that plays along with you. But then, like, I'll catch him in the hallway, and I'll be like, "You can wear your eye black. Did you see Quentin Nelson play his rookie year? I didn't even see his face. All I could see was eyeballs."
Also, I mean, that's the thing, and then he gets to.
You can be that.
He subtly get to shut up veterans like me by just being able to play. If you can play, dude, there's a lot of stuff that you can just kind of be yourself, whatever you got to do to be out there just mauling. You're in a good spot.
To go back to the original question, he talked about so I'm going to make this quick.
Sorry, kid.
Sets too hard to the outside. If he isn't able to stick a tackle, do you see him having issues kicking to guard? I'll say this. I love a guard with an aggressive set. If you want to take that lateral movement and make it into if Will Campbell feels more comfortable moving and being aggressive at the snap of the ball, then coach it into him to hit him with the jump set and be ready and save your inside hand. And with the way that he's able to recover at the point of attack, when he loses leverage and that balance, he can get his feet back in the ground. Some of the best players we've ever seen the offensive line position, their best trait is recovery. And Will Campbell has that in droves. So I'm excited to watch him play inside or outside. To your point, the dude can play. We just want to see him play wherever the hell he ends up.
And I'm tired of the conversation around tackles kicking inside as being this like,
stop it. It's not a demotion.
right? It's not.
You sick freaks.
And we're saying it because
celebration, kid. Come on in.
we think he can be elite at guard, right? Like I think he's a special guard prospect, truly. And so, obviously I think he could play tackle. I think he'd be fine at tackle. Tackles get paid more, but guards get paid a lot of money now too.
Dude, tackles in the O-line room. If you were to ask an interior guy, only an interior guy, if you were to say, what would you think about moving out to tackle? And he would just be like, those guys are just different. They're born different. Mom, dad, and God touched them different. But then you ask the tackles about playing guard and they're like, no, I want no part of that, because you're in there the entirety of the game and you're mashing face and you're eating glass and you have to be that guy. They look at us. And I think he does too. The tackles look at guards like they're warriors, gladiators, and the guards look at tackles like they're basketball freaks, long, rangy, and they can make it look easy. The great ones make it look easy. Guards, if you're great, it's violent. It's a cloud of dust. It's football as we understand it.
It's the truth.